Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to the Fernleaf Islands, where in the last episode, Sikoko started weaving together her little beachside nursery, and we have seen a tremendous amount of luck pop up in these nests. Despite her condition, so despite her double no paws, she has actually given us 2 daughters with the running leg in place of the no paw. Of course, that's all thanks to the mutation menu. It has definitely served us well. We have a 30% running leg sitting in here, and it has definitely helped. I'm hoping actually that maybe this time we could play around with it a little bit more. I'm not sure if it'll be harder to pass maybe like the velvet paw, but we might as well experiment. We might as well see if that's the case. So we'll place the velvet paw in place of the running leg for her next baby, because she is actually going to be having a baby on this turn. I know her model has changed back. There's a little bit of a glitch when you load up the game again, but she will be giving birth. So she can have possibly 2 more children. She has 2 days left remaining of her life, and I'm hoping that the mutation menu is going to be just as lucky for us now as it was before. Of course, we had some regular old luck too, because the babies did have immunity gene H, and that was the main concern with this pairing. We wanted to make sure that we would get that special and 5th immunity gene on our babies so that it would be a little bit easier to breed them in the future. Right now, so many of our creatures are sick with double immunity Fs in particular. Like Aurora has double F back here. She unfortunately is going to be sick for the entire rest of her life, so it's going to be hard to pair them all up in the future if they have the same immunities. Of course, Maple and Rain are also expecting back here, right by the original tree, of course, where Elm is also sitting. She has kind of become like the dedicated food collector, I guess. She wasn't meant to be, but she has been hunting bunnies, she's been picking berries, she's been picking up acorns too. So hopefully she'll be able to have a little bit of help pretty soon, because if we can have a nice amount of babies born from this pairing, then we could really spread them out and hopefully get rid of some of this darkness. They are really secluded right now, which is the only thing that's worrying me. Now, I tried to think of what I would like to see in their family in particular, and I think I would like to place the lean body in here for them if I can find it. Let's see, the lean body, because you guys have mentioned that this is going to be particularly helpful when we're in the jungle. It gives us a +2 in stealth, but also a +4 in scentless. So if we can have just a few lean-bodied creatures running around the jungle with us, then I think we'll be in a pretty good position. It's going to be quite the deviation from their current family lines though. A lot of our creatures have the big body because that's actually what our founders had. So it's going to be quite strange when these tiny lean-bodied creatures start popping up in our nests, but it'll definitely help us in the future. I think we're going to have to start staggering our families a little bit more though, staggering when the mothers give birth, because since the mutation menu takes into effect at the end of the day when the baby is born, it's a little bit tricky to make sure that all of these creatures are getting the right mutations that you're hoping for. So Mystic back here and Willow, they're probably going to wait to have more children until Sikoko in particular is done. That way we can really focus on bringing out his ram horns and whatnot, and we won't have to worry so much about the no-paw situation on Sikoko. But since everyone is already all tired out, let's go ahead and skip the day and we'll see what Sikoko's 3rd little baby is going to look like. Cross your fingers that it is just as lucky as the others. Oh my gosh, it's finally a son! Now unfortunately, it looks like he's sick, so he must have double Fs. Yeah, he does have double Fs. Oh, that is so unfortunate. And he also, of course, has the no paw. So he is going to be sick. He's going to be sick for his entire life, and there's not much that we can do about that. But he does have the claw. That's good to see. And he does have the normal eyes too, of course, and the fishing tail. So maybe he could go off to the water side and fish up some fish for us. Maybe that'll be his job, collecting all of the food for the pack. Of course, we want to change his sister's gems over to orange too, because they're going to be just like their mother. So for his name, why don't we actually go ahead and name him Driftwood? I feel like that would be a pretty good name for him. He looks almost exactly like his mother too, except for those purple eyes, of course, which are absolutely gorgeous. So he blends in very well with the sand, and I think he's going to be able to at least protect his sisters. Now his sisters are quite interesting because they are like complete opposites of each other. We have Seafoam, who of course represents the gentle ocean waves, and then her sister Quicksand is a little bit more daring and harsh. So I feel like they're going to end up balancing each other out in a way. Wherever they end up on this big wide island, they are definitely going to go together. So maybe we should actually have them start making their journeys. I feel like, of course, Seafoam would rather stick around the shores right here. Maybe she could come way down here and help her father pick up all of these shells. She can go ahead and scoop this one up for him. And then maybe Quicksand could scoot over here so she's out of the nest, and then she'll be able to watch her sister very closely to, of course, make sure that she's safe. Now Dusk, on the other hand, you could pick up this little shell, and you could bring it up to your mate as she switches over to the other nest. So let's have Dusk come right over here, And then we could move Sikoko right over to the other nest right here, and then she can breed with him. And then on the very next turn, she will be having her final baby. This is going to be her final one because this is her last day of life, so she will be passing on this turn too, which is always a sad thing. Now we do have a bunny over here, and oh my goodness! Do we have another melanistic baby? I think we do. Look at her. Oh my gosh, she does, of course, have the double immunity gene problem, so she's another one who is going to be sick for the rest of her life, but she has the big body instead. I mean, I did expect that to happen because, of course, Rain has it in her genetics, and Maple is showing it. So we weren't able to get any of the mutations that we were hoping for on this turn, but look at her. She's the first baby to actually show the melanism trait since Misana herself. So naturally, I feel like something night-themed would really go well with her. Maybe, midnight? Midnight would be good because she is, of course, so very dark, and she's probably going to take after her grandmother a lot in that she'll prefer the nighttime and the gloom of the rain. So let's have this pairing breed again too. We could possibly bring them over to this nest instead, but first, Elm, you are going to have to pounce on this bunny before it eats all of our berries up. Let's have you move over here and grab this guy for us. It actually stole a berry while we pinned it. I mean, really, little guy. Let's have you go ahead and pick up the meat, and then on the next turn, she'll be able to pick up the rest of the berries, the few that the bunny has not eaten up on us, and all of those acorns too. We do need to make sure we're picking up our acorns after all. Now let's have Rain scoot over here. And there's another bunny over there too, really? I accidentally grabbed that berry, so unfortunately she's going to be down a turn, but let's go ahead and sniff around. Let's see, where did it go? It actually skittered off into the darkness, I guess. Okay, so we have bunnies all around here. This is part of the reason why I want to spread these children out a little bit more once they're born, so that we won't have all of this darkness and all of this mysterious space where we really don't know what's going on. Now, if we could have maybe Maple move around her, then we might still be able to get her to the nest on this turn. Though unfortunately, because he has the short-sighted eyes, that might be a moot point. So we'll just have him go ahead and breed with her, and then she'll get as close as she possibly can, and then she'll have to wait until the next turn to sit down in this nest and give birth. Though we do have a mole over here too. I was suspecting that that was probably the case because we haven't seen this mole in quite a while. It's been left in the dark, and I still don't know where that bunny is, but someone is over here. Oh, picking at our berries, of course. So you, little Midnight, you are definitely going to have to take up the duty of protecting these berry bushes once you're grown up a little bit more. Now let's go ahead and head back to the north, where of course all of these little children are going to be spreading out the territory. We have Nova, who is spending time with her father. He was actually showing her how to hunt bunnies, in fact, which is why he has a little bit of meat next to him. So we can go ahead and pick that up, and then maybe she should actually come down here toward the berry bush. She is going to be using these berry bushes as her traps after all. Now that does leave a lot of darkness behind them, so why don't we go ahead and have Mystic just pick up some of this grass over here, and then he can move this way to continue expanding the territory on the next turn as well. And then we have Willow back here, who is currently showing her daughter how to pick berries too. We can go ahead and have her grab up some of this grass so that we know that the berry bush is there, and then she can show her how she can swipe all of the berries off of this bush in one turn. Now Juniper, why don't you actually scoot over here so that you're next to your mother still, and then we want Spruce to finally make his way over to his preferred place to pick acorns. So we have all of these soggy acorns in the water, which are apparently his very favorite snack, and we can have him dip his big, long, nimble fingers into the water to grab up all of these acorns for the pack. There you go, Spruce. You have finally completed your mission for soggy acorns. He'll go ahead and clear out all of this area, but I did just realize that we're going to have somebody help him out by knocking all the acorns off the tree. Since he's over here now, he's not actually going to be able to headbutt the tree anymore. So we're going to have to definitely find him a partner to work with. Of course, it's probably not going to be his brother Oak, who is still back here trying to clear out the space with Old Man Vancouver. He actually caught a bunny too, I believe. There were a couple of bunnies hopping around the shore. Let's see if they're still out here. We'll see if we can hear them or smell them. Oh, we have them way back here. Okay. So they are definitely still in the area, and Vancouver gets very distracted by bunnies, especially in his old age. Though I think with just one day remaining, he's probably feeling a little bit too tired to go after those bunnies. So instead, we could have Oak jump over here. Okay, so the bunnies definitely saw him coming. Now, thankfully, because he has these stripes, he should be a little bit harder to spot when he's in the tall grass. So maybe if we actually move him into the grass, oh my goodness, it'll be easier for him to find these bunnies. So we had a mole back here too. Unfortunately, it did skitter right back into its hole because it saw us. but we have so many bunnies back here that we could possibly snag up on the next turn. So we'll see if we can do that, but for now, Vancouver, go ahead and pick up your acorns because that'll definitely help us out, and then I guess he's just going to knock down some more for us because we can't clear out the grass with him right there. So while this is his very final turn, he's still done a pretty good job for the pack. He managed to clear out quite a bit of the grass around this tree, and that means that they'll just be one step closer to hopefully making it over to the jungle once we have our proper genes in place. So his remains are going to be right underneath this tree, so hopefully when our creatures do eventually start migrating over to this side of the island, they'll be able to find him resting here and they'll remember all of the contributions he made to the pack. Now our very last group to take a look at should be way over on the other side of the island, where unfortunately Uncle Taku has passed, though thankfully he did manage to pass all of his acorn collecting knowledge off to these little siblings. So Twilight is going to be hopefully the mother of our poison line. I'm hoping that once we find her a suitable male, she'll be able to breed a little line of poison-bodied creature, toxic-bodied creatures rather. So I am really looking forward to that. She is definitely a swamp lover. She loves spending time in the swamp even though it's a little bit dangerous, and I feel like her siblings would probably tease her for that. She likes to roll around in the mud, and it's probably hard to tell if all of those freckles are just her natural appearance, or if they're actually little flecks of mud. So she'll go ahead and pick up all of those berries in the swamplands, and then I suppose Aurora could actually knock down some acorns for us and pick those up too. She's probably going to be the dedicated acorn collector because Rokirku needs to expand the territory a little bit more. He actually found this nest and a berry bush too. Very, very good, Rokirku. So he can make sure he clears it out so that it'll be safe for whoever decides to start a family there. I definitely want him to start a family at some point though, because of course he has the big stinky tail, he has the claw too. He's one of the few creatures left on this island who actually still has the claws, so we're going to have to keep a pretty good eye on that. I know we want to focus on the stealth related genes instead of the strength, but it would be a good idea to make sure that we can still protect ourselves from like the carnivores. I'm pretty sure the carnivores can still spawn on the jungle biome, correct me if I'm wrong, but we wouldn't want to get completely obliterated by those guys either. So we have Sikoko having her very final child on this turn, so let's go ahead and skip the day and once again cross your fingers that this one is just as lucky as the others. Oh, it's always so sad when the mother passes away when the baby is born, but look at that, we have like a little Dalmatian. Oh my gosh, she looks exactly like a little Dalmatian. She does have the no paw though. I wonder if it's just a little bit harder to pass the velvet paw over the running leg. That was what I was a little bit concerned with because I figured the running leg is typically a pretty good bet for us. That's why I placed that in before, but it was worth a shot. It was definitely worth a shot, and we do eventually want to get the velvet paw on our creatures anyway. So we tried, but unfortunately that part of our little experiment did fail. We did get another immunity gene H though. That's always good to see, so we have another possibility of passing that on to the future generations. But as for her name, I think we'll actually go ahead and name her Seashell, to of course go along with all of those shells that her mother loved so much, which is particularly fitting because this is the day that she passed away. So Seafoam, are you okay down here? I wanted to make sure that she wasn't in too deep, and I feel like Quicksand might be a little bit worried about her too. Maybe she'll scoot down here just to make sure that she's doing all right, and we'll change her other gem over to orange as well so that she matches her sister perfectly. And Seafoam is just fine. She is very, very shy and careful after all, so I feel like she would definitely be watching her footing at the very least. We'll have her scoot over to this side so that she can still pick up this other shell. And then maybe Quicksand could actually help her by scouting out the area for more shells on the beach. I feel like that would be a particularly good job for her because of course she is so very daring. So she wouldn't worry so much about going too deep into the water. We could have her scoot way over here in fact, and there we go. She's already found all of these different shells for her sister. So she can call her over here on her next turn, and pretty soon she'll be growing her third gem too, so she'll be able to move an extra step along the way. Now Dusk, you are going to have to make a decision here. You're going to have to decide if you're going to join all of your other children by this tree where Uncle Taku was before, or if he's actually going to stay here with these little babies instead. He could take his babies over to meet the rest of their family, but I feel like Seafoam and Quicksand in particular are not really going to want to leave the shores. Maybe, in fact, only these little no-pod babies would actually go with him. That might be the case. So we'll have Driftwood go ahead and take on his orange gem, and then I think we'll actually scoot him over this way because I don't want him getting too deep into the water, and I'm sure Dusk is paying very close attention to that too. And Dusk instead could start making his way down the shore a little bit. Oh my gosh, a bunny! Another little bunny, but you're too far away. Okay, so at least Driftwood can watch this little bunny. Maybe he'll get a little bit of hunting experience by watching it hop around. Dusk, for now, you can just go ahead and pick up the shell over here, and then we'll have him scoot up the shore again, and there's even more bunnies back here. Okay, so they are definitely scooting around all of these unprotected berry bushes, which again is why we definitely need to spread them out a little bit more, but it'll be easier now that we have so many children in the nests, and we do definitely want to move Rain right into this one. I'm sorry, Rain. I'm sorry for making you accidentally pick up those berries when you didn't need to before. We can have Maple scoot up here, though, to pick his berries, just to make sure that no pesky bunnies are going to be stealing them instead. We do, of course, have all of those moles and whatnot to deal with, but they're not looking to steal our berries at the very least, so we don't have to worry about that. We could have Midnight come over here so that she'll be able to protect this berry bush once she grows a little bit more. And then you can go ahead and peek at this bunny burrow so that we know if the bunnies spawn, and we'll have you scoot way back here again so that you can pick up your acorns and your berries and whatnot, all of the typical food sources for this side of the island. Now you guys back here, we do want you of course to expand the territory like you were before. We'll have Rokirku go ahead and peek in this grass so that we know that the berry bush is there, and then I guess he might as well just go ahead and use the rest of his turns to completely expand around the nest. We want to make sure that our babies are going to be safe after all, and then their little sister is going to go ahead and peek in this grass right here, peek in the swamplands, kind of roll around in the mud, and go ahead and scoop up her berries, of course. Aurora can go ahead and knock down some more acorns. She is very, very strong despite her condition. Despite the fact that she's so sick, she has the big body, so she is very good at knocking down many, many acorns. And then we have you guys back here. So I was planning on having them breed on this turn, but we'll have them wait just one more extra turn so that we can still take advantage of the mutation menu over here. We might actually swap these two around because I do definitely want to see that lean body pop up on our creatures. So we'll see if maybe Rain can mutate the lean body on her babies. So for now, you guys can spend your turn bonding with your children again. We can go ahead and have Nova pick up her berries and then kind of like clear out the area around the berry bush too on the next turn, just to keep a particularly close eye on those pesky bunnies. And look at all of these roots that we could possibly dig up if we only had a creature with that digging paw, and all of these bunnies too. Oh my goodness, Oak, you have so many bunnies back here. Now unfortunately, because he is short-sighted, it's going to be particularly hard for him to get around now that his mentor has passed, so we're going to have to make sure that he doesn't get completely stranded out here, and in fact we might need somebody to do like a little rescue mission and bring him back to the rest of the pack. I hate having him out there all by himself, especially if something dangerous spawns. We would be in a pretty bad situation if that happened. Now maybe we could actually have Juniper come over here and help out her Uncle Spruce. We'll have her hit the tree with her big claw, and there we go. Now he has a whole bunch of new soggy acorns to keep him busy. I'm sure Willow is very, very proud of her daughter right now. She can go ahead and pick up some of the acorns as well for that matter, and then she can expand the territory a little bit more too. Now if I remember correctly, we have a ton of berry bushes out here, so this is a very good spot for our little collectors to gather up and pick all the berries, especially because the bunnies seem to be increasing in number out in the wilderness. Now we can have, of course, a Mystic go ahead and pick up some of the grass too. We'll have him expand the territory out this way just to keep a wide circle around our creatures. And then I think, do we have a bunny over here? Oh my goodness, we actually have a little bunny over here next to Dusk who is so very tired and just can't be bothered to reach over and grab it. So instead, let's go back here. Let's have Oak sniff around in the grass again. Yeah, we still have quite a few of these bunnies. Now he doesn't have a very high collecting skill, so it might not really be beneficial for him to pick the berries on this turn. Instead we could position him in a slightly better location like right here so that he can find all the bunnies. There we go. So let's go ahead and skip the turn, and then we'll grab up these bunnies before they hop away. Though I think, did something sneeze over here? I'm pretty sure I saw a sneeze. Oh, we might have another wanderer in here too, way off in the grass. Okay, so first and foremost, we're going to have you go ahead and swipe up the bunnies for us. There we go, and then let's sniff around and see if we can, oh my gosh, find anything. Oh, this is the worst. This is exactly what I did not want to see. So this carnivore has apparently pinned the bunny down, and it looks like he probably has his eyes set on you, Oak. This is not good. We definitely should have sniffed before we swiped the bunnies, because now he only has one turn to get away. Oh, this is not good at all. So I can't click on the carnivore right now, even though we can see him when we listen or we sniff. We can't actually click on him to see how much longer this carnivore has on its life. Though I wonder if the carnivore is sick? Is that a thing? Like, is this carnivore sick, or do we actually still have a wanderer somewhere out in this darkness, unfortunately stumbling around with a cold? I'm not sure. This is quite the situation though, so let's have Oak scoot this way because that's as far as he can actually get, and that means that he is actually going to have to abandon this meal that he caught. Now I'm sure at this point he's probably hollering as loud as he possibly can, and maybe Mystic would hear him. Hopefully he would, so it doesn't seem like he's going to be able to make it there in time though because he has all of this grass in the way. Unfortunately, that was the one drawback to not making a path straight through the grass with Vancouver and Oak. So I think he's actually going to have to play leapfrog with his daughter instead. I mean, she only has 2 turns, she can't move very far, so again, they're not going to be able to get there very fast, but if we have her move over here, then we can start playing leapfrog into the grass, and hopefully they can get there to help defend Oak from this carnivore if it does start giving chase. We'll have Mystic jump a little bit deeper, and then hopefully, I guess on the next turn, they will actually be able to get over to Oak at the very least. But for now, that's really the best that they can do, so we are trying to get to you, Oak. We are trying to get to you, just know that. I'm sure Mystic is yelling back to him to let him know that they're on their way, but they're just too tired to stumble their way through the grass anymore. So on the next turn, we'll have to keep a very, very close eye on him in particular to make sure that he's okay. I hope he doesn't get completely shattered. So unfortunately, that means that Willow is not going to be able to breed on this turn either, but I suppose we could actually go back here and have Rain have another baby. Oh my gosh, we have another one with a melanism trait. This time it's a little boy and he actually looks just like his father with a spit snout. Oh my gosh, and he has the lean body too. And I think because he looks so much like his father, we'll go ahead and name him Ash so that it'll go along with, of course, the tree theme that so many of his family members have. I would like to make sure that I'm giving their family the blue gems, of course. That would be particularly fitting because they do have the melanism trait, so just like their grandmother. I feel like Rain in particular would take this as a really good sign because she does remember her mother very, very well. She misses her so much, and now both of her children look almost exactly like her. So let's have Rain scoot over here to, of course, breed with Maple again, and then she could actually sit right in this nest this time, and we won't pick any extra berries, so she'll have enough energy to go straight over to this nest. And in the meantime, of course, Maple will be able to pick his berries instead. So there we go, we picked that one clean. We have Midnight over here who can hopefully pick this berry bush too. Now the only problem is, of course, that both of these children are sick because they have the double immunity genes, but we knew that that was a risk with this pairing. We were very, very lucky with many of the other creatures over here, and we actually want to pick up these nests before we leave them, don't we? We want to make sure that we're picking up all of the nesting materials, so Driftwood could actually do the honors and grab up this nest for us. And then we want to change his other gem, of course, over to orange too. Now, Seashell, why don't you scoot down over here? Because she's just a baby, she can't actually pick up the nest for us. But we do want to make sure that our little siblings down here are picking up all of their shells. So one of them seems to have been swept away by the tides, unfortunately, but we do still have a single seashell over on this side. The one down here might be a little bit too deep for Seafoam to actually grab, so I feel like she would be cautious. She wouldn't want to go down there and risk it on herself. Instead, she'll come up here where her sister is, and she'll pick up this shell, and then we could have Quicksand scoot around her and see if she can find any more. Oh my gosh, she is absolutely excellent at spotting shells. This is definitely going to be her preferred job, it seems. She'll be able to make sure that Seafoam has plenty to eat. Now, as Dusk makes his journey back to his older children, he can make sure that he's leaving a path behind him so Driftwood can follow. He could actually scoot right up next to his father, actually, so he doesn't lose the scent, and we can have Dusk go ahead and scoot around all of this tall grass, and eventually he'll make it right over to where his other children are. So they are going to be very, very surprised. Oh my goodness, Driftwood, honestly, maybe he's actually calling the bunnies to him. Maybe he's not like watching them for food. Maybe he's actually a friend of the bunnies. That is not particularly helpful for us right now, unfortunately, because we do want to pick all of the berries before the bunnies do. Now that it has rained, there are, oh my gosh, they are definitely looking for our berries, but look at all these shells. Where on earth did all of these shells come from? Well, I guess we don't have to worry so much about the bunnies stealing her berries if we have so many shells to eat in the water. Oh my gosh. Though I do still want to make sure that Twilight is at least picking her berries, and she could pick up the acorns too. She could go ahead and help her sister. We could actually have Aurora sit over here instead so that she has more acorns to pick up, especially now that we know that the carnivores are finally on our island. Like, that is literally the very first carnivore we have ever seen on this entire island, way back here with poor Oak. oak, so we definitely want to make sure that all of our nests are well protected right now. Now, you guys back here are the last ones that we have to spend our turns on, so let's have Spruce go ahead and of course pick up his soggy acorns because that's his very favorite snack, and then Juniper can do the same thing she did before and knock down some more for him to pick up too. Now, thankfully, you guys are going to have a ton of food to scoop up as well. We almost have 200 pieces of food at this point, so I'm not too concerned about the food situation. I'm not 100% sure what we're going to find at the jungle either, so that's why I wanted to make sure that we would have a nice safe cushion around all of our stores before we go off to the jungle. But I guess let's see what this carnivore decides to do before we end out the episode. We'll go ahead and sniff around and make sure that it's still in the area. Oh yes, we can still hear it on this bunny over here. So let's see, is it going to go after Oak? Let's go ahead and skip the day and find out. It's actually not. I wonder if it can't see him. Oh, that's probably the case because he's in the grass, so he has a very, very high camouflage skill right now. Okay, so we are already seeing some of these skills in action. Because he has the stripes, he can hide very well in the tall grass, and that makes it so this carnivore can't actually find him. Though I'm wondering if there's something wrong with this carnivore to begin with, because it also did not kill the bunny that it has pinned down. Maybe the bunny is his friend too. We have some very, very strange predators lurking around this island, I guess. So since the carnivore is actually minding its own business, maybe instead we'll have Oak meet up with a Mystic and they can make their way back to the rest of their tribe so that Willow and Mystic will still be able to have a few more babies. Because unfortunately, if Mystic goes off on a grand journey to try to vanquish the carnivore, then he is not going to have enough days left in his life to have any more children. So we'll probably have him go back in the next episode so that Willow can still have some more babies, and we can hopefully pass those immunity genes that she has in particular, because they are also quite rare, A and B. Most of our creatures, like I said, have that F immunity gene problem, and oh my goodness, we can't forget to look at this little baby before we end out the episode too. Look at you. A very adorable note to end the episode on. So let me know what you guys think that this little baby should be named. She is the only one in her family right now who does not have the melanism trait, so that's quite interesting. Ironically, that kind of makes her like the black sheep in the family. But apart from that, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!